Hello everyone, we're back with part 3 of our series on mean or average. If you need to review part 1 or 2, I've put the links in the description box below. So let's get started. Today we're going to talk about finding what I call a missing score. And here's the formula that I created to help you remember the steps involved. Now don't be intimidated. I know it may look a bit confusing, but trust me, it's incredibly simple. So, to find the fourth score, you calculate the sum of the 4 numbers and subtract the sum of 3 numbers. And here's an abbreviated version. This is not the sum to the 4th power or the sum to the 3rd power. No. It's simply a shortened way to write the steps that we're going to take. So if we had to find the 5th score, we say the sum of 5 numbers subtract the sum of 4 numbers. And again, we have the abbreviated version, that S with a little 5 and S with a little 4. The sum of 5 numbers subtract the sum of 4 numbers. What about finding the 10th score? That would be the sum of 10 numbers subtract the sum of 9 numbers. The S represents the word sum. And remember, it's not S or sum to the 10th power or sum to the 9th. No. We use those numbers as a guide. So could you determine the formula we'd use to find the 3rd score? Try it. Yes. So the 3rd score would be the sum of 3 numbers subtract the sum of 2 numbers. Now for this topic in mean or average, you will need to know the 2 methods of calculating the sum of values. Do you remember what they are? Well, let's see. The example says the mean of 4 numbers is 16. 3 of the numbers are 14, 17, and 23. What is the 4th number? Start by underlining important words and details. What is the problem asking you to find? They are asking you to find the 4th number, or as I like to call it, the 4th score. So here's the formula for the 4th score. The sum of 4 numbers subtract the sum of 3 numbers. So do we know what those 4 numbers are? Did they tell us? No, they didn't. So how could we find the sum of the 4 numbers if we don't know what they are? We use the formula for sum, right? The mean multiplied by the number of values. So what is the mean? Well, according to the problem, the mean of the 4 numbers is 16. And what is the number of values? 4. So 16 times 4 gives us 64. So we see how it's important to know the 2 methods of calculating the sum of values. And the one that we used just now is to multiply the mean by the number of values. We multiplied the mean by the number of values. So 64 is the sum of the 4 numbers. Do we know what those 4 numbers are? Let's look at the problem. We can identify 3 of those numbers, 14, 17, and 23. So we don't know what the 4 numbers are, but we know that the sum of them will be 64. The problem required us to find the 4th number. What is the 4th number? That's what we have to determine. And we see here, we used a little diagram. We put in the 3 numbers that we do know, 14, 17, and 23. And we know that 64 is the sum. Our fourth number is still missing. So what is the formula for the fourth number? That would be the sum of 4 numbers subtract the sum of 3 numbers. And here's the sum with the formula. Let's read it again. The mean of 4 numbers is 16. 3 of the numbers are 14, 17, and 23. What is the fourth number? Both parts of the formula require us to find the sum. You must use both methods that we learned about in the previous video. To find the sum of 4 numbers, we had to multiply the mean by the number of values. To find the sum of the 3 numbers, we simply added those numbers, 14 plus 17 plus 23. And we see here the missing number is 10. So 10 is the fourth number. So now we know that the 4 numbers are 14, 17, 23, and 10. Now, there are 2 ways for us to check our answer to ensure that it's correct. Let's go back to our diagram. We can put in the number 10 and see if we actually get 64. And when we add all 4 numbers, we see that it's correct. Do you see why it's important to use diagrams when solving problems? It's a very useful strategy. Another way to check your answer is to find the mean of the 4 numbers. We know that the mean should be 16. So if it's not, we know that we've made a mistake. So you calculate the mean of 14, 17, 23, and 10, and you should get 16 according to our problem. Because the problem stated the mean of 4 numbers is 16. So when we find the mean of those 4 numbers, we should get 16. And we see here that we do. Now here's another example. The mean of 3 numbers is 32. If 2 of the numbers are 27 and 38, what is the other number? What is the other number? They want us to find the other number, but which number is that exactly? Well, the problem states that we should have 3 values, but we've only got 2. Therefore, the missing number will be the 3rd number, or as I like to put it, the 3rd score. So what is the formula for the 3rd score? You guessed it. The 3rd score is the sum of the 3 numbers subtract the sum of 2 numbers. Do we know what those 3 numbers are? No, we don't. But you can multiply the mean by the number of values. Do we know what the 2 numbers are? Yes, we do. We simply add 27 and 38. Afterwards, we subtract. Here is the worked example. Our missing number is 31. Calculate the mean of 27, 38, and 31 to check your answer. So far, we've learned how to calculate mean or average. We've learned 2 methods to find the sum of values, and we've learned how to find a missing score. And here are a few for you to try on your own. Remember to use methods to check your answers. It's really important. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this video was helpful to you. You can click the links below in the description box to go on to part 4 of this series. Thanks again. Bye.